In 1977, Serge Dubrovsky published his novel, Fils. This novel would become innovative in its own genre, the first of its kind. Autofiction, a word that Dubrovsky invented, came to define this piece of work that didn't fit within the boundaries of just autobiography or fiction. Challenging the typical norms of literature, autofiction is described by Dubrovsky as fiction, made up of strictly real events and facts. Dubrovsky also described four conventions of autofiction in a homonymic pact between the author, narrator, and main character, narrating a story based solely on true events, playing with chronology, and finally, labeling the work as fiction. In an age where writing was either completely non-fiction or fiction, Dubrovsky was the first to pioneer a field of text where the two opposite categories would intersect. To this day, this genre of literature has survived the test of time and instead thrives. Outside its compartments within creative writing, it has become a common theme in the everyday lives of many people. Through the way people speak to one another about their experiences, to how one portrays themselves digitally, autofiction is a facet of everyday life. We will be exploring the specificities of how autofiction is relevant in the way college students represent themselves on Instagram, a popular social media platform, and how two of Dubrovsky's four autofiction conventions are present: a homonymic pact and narrating based on true events. Through analyzing the different elements of an Instagram account, alongside a user's choice to curate it, we can understand how autofiction is present in a user's attempt to create a perceived image of themselves.
Jacob Marcias, a 19-year-old college student, represents the average Instagram consumer. Jacob has been using Instagram since its growth in popularity back in the early 2010s. Since then, he has been curating his profile and growing his following. Jacob is also an aspiring small business owner with his own clothing brand, which he promotes through Instagram. His profile reflects the typical social media presence of his generation, featuring a plethora of posts, stories, and followers. Arguably, one of the most important aspects of an Instagram account is the profile picture. As the first item a viewer sees, it serves as the foundation for the creation of a user's desired self-image. In the context of autofiction, where individuals selectively present aspects of their lives to construct a particular narrative, the profile picture plays a crucial role in shaping perception. Users carefully choose an image that aligns with the identity they want to project, whether that be professional, casual, or playful. By deciding what to reveal and what to omit, they begin the process of curating a version of themselves that fits the story they want to tell.
So my profile picture is me walking a practice runway for one of my fashion shoots. We were just in a parking garage and I was just in like a normal outfit, but I thought it was an interesting picture. So I made it my profile picture because I think like profile picture should either be like your face or like your body or something that's important to you, something that says a lot about you. And I think that that's like pretty, it explains a lot about who I am just because I'm so into fashion and I do runways on the side and I just like things of that aesthetic.
Jacob sports an image of himself practicing walking the runway for a fashion show as his profile picture. He chose this image to highlight his passion for fashion and present his account as semi-professional. If he had chosen a different photo, such as one of his favorite television characters, it would have given his profile a completely different tone, one that felt more casual and humorous. However, by selecting an image that reinforces his interest in fashion, Jacob actively constructs a version of himself that aligns with the identity he wants to share. Just as autofiction blends reality with self-curation, his profile picture becomes a deliberate piece of storytelling, shaping how others perceive him within the digital space. The next step in the process when curating an Instagram profile is the username, which often further reflects the self-image created by the profile picture. Some users stick to their real names for authenticity and abiding by Dubrovsky's homonymic pact, while others create usernames that add personality, humor, or mystery. A username can hint at interests, professional, or aesthetic choices. For example, at globewonder_Sarah can be a username for a travel lover, or at rpyjake, a username for an artist. It acts as a digital signature, helping to shape first impressions and reinforce the image that users want to present. Over time, changing a username can also signal a shift in identity or branding, similar to how autofiction allows for the reshaping of a personal narrative.
So I chose my username because I like the minimalistic nature of it. It's just my name, so it's easy for people to find me. As well as like it just being my name, it makes it a little bit more professional. It's not like a cartoon character or like something that has nothing to do with me. It just is like clean and cut, and it just makes my account look more tied together overall. So the 4 in my name is mainly because the name was already taken, but I do love the number 4, and it does help me stand out. It's not just my name; it's my name with like a number in it, so it stands out from other people with my name.
Jacob's username at JacobM4CS further reflects the professional aesthetic he is aiming for. By keeping the username simple and closely resembling his real name, he maintains his sense of authenticity while still curating his self-image. The slight modification, replacing a letter with a number, ensures originality while preserving his identity. Just as autofiction involves selectively presenting parts of one's life to construct a particular narrative, Jacob's username is a small but intentional choice in shaping how he wants to be perceived. An area that shows more detail about the user is the biography. In the biography, users can handpick what information they list about themselves, such as the area they live in, pronouns, age, nationality, and educational institution. For college students, most will have their institution listed on their profile. The amount of information included is entirely up to the user, and each choice contributes to the self-image they are constructing. In the same way that autofiction involves selectively presenting aspects of one's life to shape a personal narrative, the biography becomes another space where users can control how they are perceived, revealing only what they deem relevant to their curated identity.
So my bio is just my clothing brand and our school, as well as a club I'm affiliated with. I like my account to be simple and to have the things that are like the most important to me. So I just chose to keep my clothing brand and like the things that were most important to me or most important for other people to know.
Jacob has a very minimal biography, listing only his university, his clothing brand, and the club he is involved in. Once again, he chooses to showcase his interest in fashion by marketing his clothing company and highlighting his role in a fashion club. By limiting the details he shares, Jacob creates an ambiguous, almost mysterious feel to his account, guiding viewers towards seeing him primarily through the lens of his fashion interests. Just as autofiction blends truth with self-curation, Jacob's biography is not a full representation of his life, but a carefully chosen glimpse into the identity he wants to project, leaving the rest up to imagination.
People curate highlights of past story collections to show off moments they are proud and fond of. The components of a highlight include the covers, label, content, and order. The cover of a highlight is for first impressions, a label for the viewer to get an idea of what they will be looking at, content as per the user's choice, and order of highlights for aesthetic purposes. These depict autofiction in the user's Instagram profile, because these highlights are the user's personal choices in the form of a self-narration tool. In choosing what to highlight on their profile, a user shows the followers exactly what they feel like sharing, in whatever arrangement they please. This allows for a user to create a version of their personal reality that is free from all the parts of their lives they dislike. This is the blending of autobiography and fiction that is the backbone of autofiction, and also the narration based on true events as defined by Dubrovsky's conventions of autofiction.
So for my highlights, I basically just choose my favorite stories and combine them together. I try to curate like a vibe that goes along with my feed, as well as like adds to like the character of my account, but mainly I would just say I choose like the favorite things that I post and I just make them my highlights.
Jacob's profile has 5 different highlights, each with its own theme. His first highlight is named Life, with a cover picture of an audience in a large-scale concert. The content within this highlight are essentially just aesthetic pictures of his life, from pictures of bouquets to his cat. His second highlight, J, contains aesthetic pictures of himself. His third highlight is named Sherelle, which is his clothing brand, and contains photos of his products. The last 2 highlights contain photos of the activities he participates in and photos of his friends. With the aesthetic focus and nature of all his highlights, Jacob uses them to dramatize and display the aesthetic nature of his life. In regards to autofiction, all the highlights were specifically chosen to build a picture of himself that he wants others to see. People create posts to show off moments of their life that they have decided are worthy of being showcased on a larger scale than stories and highlights. Components of a post include the caption, pictures, likes, and comments. Each one of these facets of posting adds to autofictionality in different ways. Through a caption, the poster is able to make themselves look better than they actually are. Whether that is intellectually or aesthetically, there are many ways people utilize a post caption to show off what they want, while linking it to the contents of the post. The pictures a user chooses for the post often have a specific purpose in what the user wants. These pictures incorporate elements of fiction and autobiography, as they are pictures that are a part of the user's life. However, they don't depict the user's true self, which is the fictional part. Narration based on true events is seen here, as a user only posts events that are relevant enough in their image in their daily life. Much like the caption, there are aspects of the user's life that they want the world to see and admire. These pictures may be of themselves, their friends, life, objects, and etc. A user would not choose pictures that they do not deem cool in one sense or another, because that would ruin their self-image as they are curating it. The comments and likes of a post are mostly the user's reactions to the post. Although liking a post is just an option to click, comments are not as simple. The followers may comment what they want, but usually they comment out of interest in the content of the post. Whether that is complimenting the user or asking questions, comments are a special aspect of the post.
When I create a post, I think about like the composition of it. I think about what's already on my feed. I think about the colors of my feed. I think about the types of things that like I've seen other people post that I have been wanting to post, as well as numerous other things. But those are like the main four like things, I'd say.
The first post that shows up when you see Jacob's profile is his most recent post, with the caption, "The Little Mermaid," parentheses, 2025. The first picture of the post is of two people against the dark evening sky, alluding to the caption looking like the cover poster of the movie The Little Mermaid. The contents of the post are more pictures of him that are very visually pleasing due to the background and different color schemes. This builds upon the personal image that Jacob wants to portray through his Instagram profile, by showcasing moments of his past that he wants to be remembered and seen by others.
Autofiction is no longer just confined to literature. It has become an integral part of digital self-representation, especially on social media platforms like Instagram. As seen through Jacob's curated profile, every element, from his profile picture to his posts, created narrative. This mirrors Dabrowski's definition of autofiction, where real events and facts are shaped into a story that is of the author's choosing. And even beyond Instagram, autofiction extends into everyday life. Whether through the way people recount their experiences in conversation or curate their digital presence, there is always a level of self-editing involved in how individuals present themselves. The process of choosing what to share and what to leave out is a natural part of shaping identity. In an era where perception is just as important as reality, autofiction is a continuous, unconscious practice that influences how people interact with the world around them. Through this perspective, it is clear that autofiction is not just a literary concept, but a fundamental part of how we navigate and define ourselves in modern society.